Right, hello. So, I'm sitting here with this notebook full of ideas. I take on board your questions all the time, things you want me to talk about, things I'm led to talk about as well. Right now on the channel, what I am focusing on is what I am being told to focus on by my intuition, by Lilith and Hecate, and my other deities, what I feel is right. I'm not looking at algorithms, I'm looking at me and what I feel is right to put out. I have had people say there's been synchronicities, that's probably why. I'm very spirit-led right now. And with that being the case, despite my book of ideas and things I want to talk about, I'm doing this. If you're not new on the channel, you will know that I am going through the Qliphoth, which is the tree of death. It's part of Kabbalah, the dark side of Kabbalah, you could say. It's left-hand path. I am in a sphere or a Qliphoth, which is called Satariel, and that is like the top of the tree sort of thing. I've crossed the abyss, got 2 more to go after this. And then who knows? I will share more of my journey. I have promised to do this. I just haven't yet. Because what I've been going through, it's hard to put into words. It's another spiritual awakening. Every day is a learning day. Every day is a school day, literally. So many downloads, so many experiences happening. I find it hard to put into words sometimes. So I'm just kind of getting through things by, helping other people, doing my job, living my life, and coping with that on the side. Once I have completed the journey, or I'm nearly there, I'll start to talk more about it, okay? Because a lot of you guys have been curious. Some of you know what it is, some of you don't even know what it is. So I'm going to talk about it. There is a lot of fear-mongering around the subject as well. And you know me, if you're not new here, this channel was built up on dispelling fear-mongering. Because Hecate, however you want to say her name, she is my main goddess, so one of them. And since day one of this channel, I have built it up in her name, with her in mind, dedication to her, to dispel the bullshit about her, the egocentric, fear-mongering assholes that spread crap about her all the time. She doesn't need a saviour, she doesn't need a white knight sort of thing. A part of me, and I've spoke about it on the channel, because I love her so much, she is like a member of the family, and that's how it is when you are devoted with any deity. A part of me felt like that once, but with what I'm going through, I just know it's not needed. It's not to defend her. It's to help you guys, because I was once new. I was once in your shoes. I mean, I'm assuming you're new. Not everyone is, of course not, but yeah, I was once in the shoes of a newbie and afraid of everything and afraid of her. A lot of people come to me and say how they're afraid of her. I was afraid of her once because of this shit. Well, this is why I'm making this video, and it's going to be hard to put it into words, but what I'm going through, Hecate is much more than what even I thought. And I've been teaching about her, and it's still all valid, of course. And I've been learning more about deities, and I've taught about what I think deities are, but I'm learning even more, right? So I'm going to just get into it. This is just me getting this off my chest, all right? Hello, I'm Sarah, that divination witch. If you're new here, welcome. If you're not new, welcome back. This is a witchy community where we share things, nothing silly. We don't judge. If you want to join, hit subscribe. And if you want to support me or the channel, all of my links are below. I offer readings. I've got Patreon. I'm teaching things on there. Yeah, I just want to keep that short because this is kind of like a serious from the heart thing. I've explained on the channel before what deities are, in my view. Obviously, all of this is my view. You can have your opinion, all right? We're welcome to different opinions here, like I've already said in the little intro there. But I'm of the opinion that basically we have a creator, a source, whatever you want to call it, the universe that created everything. And deities, as we know them from all the different cultures and pantheons throughout the years, are aspects of that. And ultimately, if you boil it down to its root core, it's all one higher power helping us. And other religions like Hinduism, for example, echo that. They do believe in a supreme God and that the pantheon of their gods are aspects of the supreme being. And it's not just Hinduism, that's just off the top of my head. It's a commonality throughout many religions. Not all, but many. But even the pagan religions, even the ones that died out and we're now reviving them, Hermeticism, Hellenism, I couldn't say the word then. You know, them two major ones off the top of my head. Start with a chaos energy, start with one energy. Even the Norse and Germanic gods, it's one energy that was the creator, and everyone else branched off from that like a family tree. And you can trace that same model way back to Mesopotamia and Babylon and the Assyrian times, some of the first recorded earliest empires and mythologies that there ever was. And there is a lot of New Age thought around the Mesopotamian gods, which I am taking with a pinch of salt personally, because I think there's a lot of problematic stuff in with that. But there could be some grains of truth in it. I'm not dismissing it wholly. That's something for another day. I haven't yet researched it fully. But some people believe they are the ancient aliens, that whole theory, okay? For me, I don't see them quite like that. I see them as the first gods. The Anunnaki, as they are known, are indeed historically known as that pantheon of gods, and so I do see them as some of the first gods that we knew of, because mankind, before we had gods, before we humanized things, we were very into animism, nature worship, essentially energy worship of everything and everyone being connected. So yeah, I see everything that came after Mesopotamia, to be honest, kind of like a reflection of that, but different cultures. Now, how does all of this relate to Hecate and the goddesses? Okay, well, Hecate has been my main goddess since day one of my practice. I've spoke about her so much on the channel, but to recap, I thought she was just the Hellenic or Greek witchcraft goddess, which is one of her many guises, but she isn't just that. She predates the Hellenic times. She was adopted into their mythologies, like other deities will have been too, don't get me wrong. But she's so ancient, she's kind of an anomaly within that. There are theories that she is the creator. The Chaldean oracles name her as a creator, which mirrors something called Gnosticism. It's similar. Gnosticism is the original take, you could say, on Christianity, or the alternative take on that, where they believe that the source, the creator God, like I've explained, created everything. From the creator came pairs of different gods, different archetypes, male, female. Sophia, the goddess of wisdom, decided to be different and created her own offspring without her male counterpart. That became a toxic god called the demiurge, which is apparently what the Christian god is. It's a whole thing. But the Chaldean oracles name Hecate as that creator. And ever since I learned about that, and the more I get to know her, the more I realise, God, she's all encompassing. do a quick Google, look up her epithets. There's hundreds of them. I was just looking at the list today, just for my own purposes, because of downloads I'm getting. She has epithets that are dark, like Brimo is a common one that I've actually worked with a little bit. She has ones that are animalistic. She has ones that are heavenly. There's literally one called Of Heaven. She has ones that are motherly and protective. She's got so many. She's in so many different categories. You can't pin her down. It's like mind-blowing. I've never known a deity with so many aspects to them, and it does remind me, going back to Hinduism, which I am not an expert in that, but what I know of it is that with both the male and the female side, the belief in a supreme god and different epithets being the different deities. Durga is a good example of that. My light's just gone out, sorry about that. But Durga is a good example of that, in that she has different faces. Parvati, Kali, totally different ends of the spectrum, but aspects of the feminine, aspects of her, like Durga is. So it does really, really remind me of that. So I've always had that in mind. But going through the Qliphoth, I didn't intentionally want to do that. It was Lilith that guided me to it, because Lilith is another of my deities and has been for many years, as long as Hecate, one of my main goddesses too. She brought me onto the Qliphoth path because she is the Qliphoth. She is the womb of the left-hand path. And she is the dark feminine. She is that personified. She does embrace the demonology side to her. She does embrace all of that side. And she is so powerful, but she can be so loving and so wise as well. Now, Lilith has led me down so many rabbit holes on this journey, and it's not just been Lilith. I have met other goddesses throughout my journey. Not just goddesses, but some of my main experiences have been with Babalon. That's how I've been researching Crowley. I mean, Babalon, she is something that was derived from Thelema, which was Crowley's whole system of doing things, let's say, his invention. But she was an archetype he created based on the Whore of Babylon from Revelations, based on that parody. But even though it's based on that parody, she is the sacred feminine. She is the divine feminine, the sexual energy, the womb, the creator, the mother, everything. And there is so much synchronicity between her and Lilith. And Lilith has told me, and obviously this is going to be my UPG, Lilith told me they're the same. They are one and the same. Now, Lilith's sisters, who I've met numerous times before going through the Qliphoth, but I've met them again, Agrat, Bad Malat, Esheth, Zenimim, I can never say it right, I'm sorry, Nama. Those three are all aspects of Lilith. And they are their own women as well, of course. When I was crossing the abyss, I had Neith come to me. I vaguely knew of Neith, but I've got no interest in ancient Egypt, really. I mean, now I do, but I didn't before then. That wasn't my pantheon, that wasn't my jam. Neith is the primordial goddess, the creator within Kemeticism. She is the spider goddess, the weaver of fate. Who else is the weaver of fate? Lilith. Who else is the weaver of fate? Arachne. Who else is the weaver of fate within the context of the Qliphoth? Babalon. She is the serpent of wisdom. Who else is the serpent? Neith, Babalon, Lilith. All these ladies. And when you look down into it, so is Hecate, because she's got a foot in all of these doors. She's everything. She is the Gnostic goddess, not Sophia. Barbelo, I believe, is what she's called, the creation goddess there. She is everything. She is Neith. She is Lilith. And Lilith is her. And Lilith is Babalon. And Lilith is a Grat. And a Sheth. And a Sheth is Hecate. They are all one and the same. And I don't know how else to put this into words. It is so complex, it's blown my own mind. It is boiling it down to the theory of that I've always had, that the face you are presented with is what you need at the time. And, you know, different goddesses and gods are a product of their time and culture. What was going on at the time when they were formed. Could they be, in a way, egregores, but not quite? You know, it's a reflection of what the people needed. I mean, in ancient Mesopotamia, they didn't know anything else other than the city they were in or whatever. Because I know Inanna as well. That's another thing I wanted to say. That Inanna has all these aspects to her too. And so does Ereshkigal. Now, I'm going off on another tangent, but this is something I wanted to make a video about for the longest time before even doing the Qliphoth. So Nyx from the Hellenic pantheon is the personification of the nighttime. And a lot of UPGs that I have heard about Nyx, working with that Titaness, sound very Hecate. I even had someone on the channel say that she worked with Nyx, and Nyx in the astral sent her to this cave and whatever. Hecate is known for having a cave. I asked Nyx outright because I was doing a reading for someone else, and Nyx said, I am Ereshkigal. Well, Hecate is known as Ereshkigal. Ereshkigal is the Mesopotamian goddess of the underworld. And in the Greek magical papyri, Hecate is called Ereshkigal. You'll find this sometimes, the interchangeable names as epithets. So Hecate is known as Ereshkigal. And Nyx said, I am Ereshkigal, and I am Hecate, and Hecate is me. They are all the same, is what I'm trying to say. They are the same, but different, of course, you know. So this is what I mean. The face we are presented with is the face we need. So in ancient Mesopotamia, you know, they would have known Inanna, of course. It would have been Inanna more than Ereshkigal they would have worshipped, because they don't want to worship death and invite death in. That's normally the way with ancient cultures. Inanna and Ishtar, I know it depends what city and culture you came from, but Ishtar and Inanna are so similar. They're basically the same. But it does depend on where you're from, you know. Ancient Rome, they might not, unless they were a scholar, known about that, so it might have been Venus. You know, it all depends on who you need. So now it's more complex because we are in the age of technology, the age of connection and information and knowing more. Sometimes that can be a blessing and a curse, because it's a blessing we're so interconnected, but it's a bit of a curse that it's hard to figure things out like this. And it's hard to make sense of it sometimes, isn't it? And this is why I'm making this rambly little video, to give you an update of my understanding of things. So with it being this age we're in, it really depends so much on us as individuals and what we resonate with, and the stage of our life and our level of understanding. Because if you asked me 5 years ago, I wouldn't have known any of this. I would have just known Hecate as Hecate. And I would have been adamant they were all separate, you know. Always keep an open mind. This is why I made that video not long ago about Hecate and the Qliphoth. I used to have the opinion she's nothing to do with it. And in a way, she isn't. If you go by the original development of it, she isn't a demoness. It's Lilith that is. It's Lilith that is the Qliphoth, but anyone can be in it. And this is my journey, which I will be sharing. I've had spirits of all walks of life and pantheons, not just demons, helping me through this. It is not to do, even though it is demonic, it isn't really. And it's the same with the Sephiroth too, even though it's meant to be angels. Really, what these path workings are planetary magic, planetary elements. They are the fabric of our universe, And what it is, and this is something I will be talking about eventually properly when I do a series, it's the microcosm and the macrocosm. So when you look at the solar system, you've got the inner planets, Venus, Earth, obviously, Mars, etc. And then the asteroid belt. And then you've got the outer planets, Saturn and stuff. And when you are doing astrology, which I'm no expert in, I am very basic with it. But in astrology, when you read your chart, to my knowledge, you kind of have some planets that have a more personal effect on you, which are the ones closer to home, and the ones further away, literally outside the asteroid belt, the outside, have a more overarching effect. So when you do Kabbalah, whether it's the light or the dark side, whatever, life or death, it is that each sphere or Qliphoth represents a planet in the solar system. You work through the energy, you work through your traumas, dealing with things linked to it. It's very, 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 very personal. And you go through your minor things first to cross the abyss, aka asteroid belt, to get to the outside, to the overarching themes, which is where I am now. That's why you have to go through an ego death. And it's not because we don't need an ego. I've still got an ego. I'm a human. But it's more an understanding of things beyond you, beyond just you. And this is what's happening to me right now. And this is what this ramble is to explain to you guys. Because if I can help in some way to contextualize things, to say, like, it doesn't matter all these little niggly nuances and arguments. I used to be one of them people too. I mean, on TikTok, it's rife with it, this God doesn't like this God. It's, making them out to be like Pokemon, like something so freaking trivial. And even like the Jesus worshippers, I've got nothing against you, Jesus, but you know what I mean, the toxic people. I've talked about them before. You could be working with Jesus or Balder or Osiris or whoever. Doesn't matter. It's what's inside that matters. And ultimately, all deities are one thing. And that's why when you boil it down to any religion, any spiritual belief at all, we all want the same thing, really. That's to go to heaven or whatever the concept is, a higher plane of existence, enlightenment, a good place, essentially. We all want to be on the good end, normally. And even from an egoic perspective of those who say, like, they're on the left-hand path, Satanists, the dark kind, well, even that, you want power. So it's still wanting something higher than you. And ultimately, that's what we want. And all things have the same answer in the end, really. So all this fighting against you're going to go to hell and blah-de-da-de-da, it's bullshit. And that's why I'm making this video. Yeah, I will speak more about Kabbalah and stuff and my journey when the time's right. I will. Still love Hecate, still love Lilith, still see them as separate ladies. But ultimately, I know they're all the same, I know they're one core being, and we may interact with different sides to them when we need to, etc. And they've all got our back. Because ultimately, they want what's best for us as humans. They want us to grow and be better. They don't want us to stay down. Yeah. That's the tea. That's what I've learned so far. I hope that made sense, because I've been sitting on this for a long while. And I'm like, well, how the hell do I put this into words? Because I just keep getting more and more signs of, you have to say it. I mean, when Neith came to me, I was honoured. She helped me through the abyss in the end, and I thought, wow, I was just gobsmacked, finding all this out. Knew nothing about her. Now I do. Yeah. All right. If you like this, yeah, I hope you did. I hope you found it useful, even though it was a bit rambly. But hit subscribe. Check out my channel for all my other stuff. I do talk about these things a lot. And yeah, if you've got anything to add, put it in the comments. If there's any questions, anything you want to know, yeah, let me know. And until next time, stay safe, stay witchy. Bye.